from red side, the answers that DRX had were very good and were very good champions for their players too. That game number 1 was so much down to outplays from T1 all across the map in their laning phase. Really, really nicely done.
Outplays during laning phase and grouping up the objectives, being there first. They never really gave DRX an opportunity to hit back in time. So let's jump into champ select here. It's Lucian and Ryze banned out by DRX. T1 will take Caitlyn and Yuumi off the table. Pretty standard stuff here for the red side. They have to pay the taxes. They have to get rid of those OPs. Renata Glass going to be the 3rd and final ban of the first half of draft here for DRX.
Interesting. So the 3 bot lane champions, of course, are gone. And DRX think that Renata was a pretty big problem in the last game. I wonder if they first pick Varus here, if they think that this is the most powerful pick in the current series. Aatrox is up, Sylas is up, Graves. There's a lot of powerful champions that they could lean towards. But the first pick Varus from T1 was so strong because of the Renata, I feel. I feel like with a different support, it could be a little bit weaker. So we'll see what DRX approaches.
Yeah, it's interesting because DRX, like you were talking about earlier, Deft has not been playing the Aphelios, so it puts them kind of at a -1 in these AD carry pools, necessitating Lucian bans over and over and over. And so they're pushed into this scenario where taking it away from Guma.
And Guma usually does play the Aphelios, of course, like I said, so they can lock in an Aphelios lane here. They can lock in something like a Kalista lane if they're confident. Sivir could work very well into Varus, something that DRX was running. Viego is up if Owner wants to lean into that. I think T1 have so many options. The question is, do they do what DRX did and take away this Aatrox? And therefore, does Kingen have a response to that Aatrox?
Oh no, my friends. We're getting a different flavor. Remember, this champion was banned on blue side by T1 in game 1. Now it is locked in next to that Aatrox by T1 on red side in game 2.
T1 just have so much leverage. They've already defeated the Aatrox at your hands, and now Zeus with it gets to pose the same question.
Are they thinking about Heimerdinger, I wonder, here on 3, just running the Ashe Heimerdinger into DRX? They've played it before, carry as Heimerdinger, but they're going to pick up the Aatrox. So, does King have a response? I think Kingen's response to Aatrox is probably something like Fiora, one of those carry top laners that you can match it with. We've seen this Camille as well to great success, but it went after one item. Piosik, does he go for the Kindred?
Yeah, you hover the Graves, I hover the Kindred. This is Piosik's answer. The Kindred streamer wanting to get a world skin for his favorite champion, but won't have to lock it in unless you pull the trigger on the Graves.
There's the hover from Yone, just teasing. There's the Camille Fiora. I think that's the direction that Kingen will go in. There's the Heimerdinger as well for Beryl once again. I think they were scared of giving that over to Keria on 3 and not having an answer in terms of having a pushing lane.
I also love Camille against a champion like Ashe. You go for her, you hit her, easy kill every time.
So now the answers for Heimerdinger lanes have been greatly discussed. I'm very interested how deep Keria goes. He's one of the supports with the deepest champions pool. Could go Soraka, could go Zyra, lots of things pushed around.
Could also go Ashe support as well. We've seen it from players like Mako if they want to just flex this to support and pick up an AD carry here. No, they're going to go Ashe Lux into Heimerdinger Varus. Maybe they think they can get a little bit of push. They have a lot of follow-up and a lot of CC.
Yeah, super long range, so you can try and fish around for those bindings and get really good poke. Obviously, the volley here for Ashe helping so much with that push.
Plus, Heimerdinger's normally good at blocking certain skill shots with the turret. Lux binding will hit the target directly behind, so it can go through that little bit of a shield he likes to deploy.
Very true. The E and the W from Lux and Ashe respectively will be able to burn through those turrets as well. Now we're going into the 4-5s. We've got top and bot, both side lanes picked from either side. It's mid-jungle where the focus now comes towards. We've seen picks like Lee Sin, Graves is still up, Viego is still up, Sylas is still up, and the Azir from Faker as well.
Yeah, you have to think, with the Ryze already being banned out, Sylas priority again rises up in this one. Azir answer is still possible, but with a Kindred ban, that also raises the Graves possibility again. If you've got no answer there for the Piosik Kindred, it's going to be such a tough jungle champ to deal with.
And T1 have a lot of damage right now. They have Graves jungle, they have a pushing bot double range. They could play a supportive mid laner in this comp. Something like Galio or Lissandra would be amazing for T1's comp. We'll see what DRX rounded out with in the mid jungle.
Yeah, I think you want more aggression because the best pairings with Graves are when you also have Ashe lanes with the Hawk Shot to be able to find your opponent and get those Graves invades off. So T1 really setting Owner up to be the star this time around.
We might just get the same mid-jungle from last game. Viego, Sylas coming out here from DRX. They're confident enough to not ban the Graves, take away the Azir instead, and then match the Viego into the Graves and run back something like the Sylas, as we expect. That takes away the Lissandra, that takes away the Galio. I think Galio and Lissandra are very difficult to pull off against Sylas, so we might see more of a control mage here from Faker, unless he wants to lean to things like the Ahri.
Exactly what I was thinking, the Ahri, which Zeka himself used. Let's see about it.
Last pick of the draft on red side for Faker. They know exactly what he's up against. They know exactly what else they've got. And what will they choose? It's Victor for Faker.
Control mage makes a lot of sense. You've got 4 range champions on your team here, T1. So much poke, so much lockdown, so much damage. DRX have a comp that has to commit into it, so T1 wants to kite them back.
Yeah, there are so many options when you have Graves right now. Premier invade jungler, farming jungler, with an Ashe Hawkshot to support you in information, and a Victor into Sylas, range versus melee matchup in mid lane also to support you in your efforts. T1, they've trusted so much in their youth programs, with Zeus, Owner, Guma, all coming from them, and Faker now going to do one more and back him up.
And they've got a tough task ahead of them now, because we know what DRX are capable of. We know that they're able to bounce back in these series. If T1 can go up to match point here, that'll be pivotal, of course, because then 1 game away from that title, 1 game away from Faker's 4th title, and DRX are on blue side. This is the game that they need to win.
Exactly, but it's not over even if they don't. Remember their series against EDG. Remember the power of a reverse sweep, but DRX don't want to be in that spot. They want to tie it up. They want to be ready to go. We've got Zeka back on the Sylas. He has styled on countless opponents with this champion so far at this tournament, but now with Faker in front of him, the stakes could not be higher.